Hey everybody, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. I'm Brandon, and I just finished reading Country Dark by Offutt. A nice little Southern noir, a great read and a quick read. I heard about this book through Jason Isbell, my good friend Jason Isbell. I read somewhere that this book, or Chris Offutt's writing more broadly, his sort of Southern noir type storytelling, was the inspiration for the song River on the Reunions album. And I can see how it would have been the inspiration for a song like that. And what it's about is the protagonist named Tucker is a Korean war vet who returns to his homeland in the hills of eastern Kentucky. So, and all the things that happen to him after he comes home. Mostly what happens to him is he just encounters a bunch of hill country characters. There's, the despicable deputy sheriff. There's the smart and wisecracking old bootlegger. And there's the spunky gal who he rescues and then marries. What's great about the book is all those characters. They're all really funny, and they're all fully formed, which is quite remarkable because this is a short book, just a few hundred pages. You can read it really quickly. It's incredibly economical. There is hardly a word wasted. I don't know if there's an adverb in the whole damn thing. And yet he introduces these characters. Every few pages you'll meet somebody new, and each one of them somehow comes out fully formed and fully realized. He does it by just changing perspective constantly. So most of the book is told from the perspective of Tucker, the protagonist, in the sort of third person omniscient. But a new character comes in, and he'll start a new paragraph and switch to that character's perspective, and quickly give you a couple of details about that character that sort of tell you what you need to know about them to understand who they are and their motivations and what they care about and stuff like that. So it's quite remarkable. It's a bit jarring, the jumping back and forth between perspectives, but it works quite well. And it does let you get in the minds of all these different characters and either care about them or dislike them, depending on what he wants you to do. Just in and out. And then some of these characters are only in the book for a couple of pages. Here's a quick example. This is shortly after Tucker, the main character, has been released from prison, where he just did a 5-year stint related to his bootlegging activities. He's been picked up from the prison to be taken home by one of the henchmen of Beanpole, who's the bootlegger, the crime boss who Tucker was working for before he sent to the clink. They entered Howarth's hardware store, where a woman in her 40s stood behind a multi-drawer cash register made of oak and marble. Beside her was a wooden barrel of pickles. Her hair swirled into hybrid between a bun and a hive, each strand drawn tight across her scalp. She wore a smock over a floral blouse that covered what appeared to be the armature of a large brassiere. Jimmy addressed her chest and asked for guns. "See Mr. Howarth in the back," she said, and tapped a small silver bell twice. The sharp peal drifted in the air. When the sound dissipated, she chimed the bell 3 more times. "Are you Mrs. Howarth?" Jimmy said with a leer he'd practiced in a bathroom mirror. The woman moved her tight lips in the semblance of a smile and nodded. Jimmy kicked the barrel lightly, careful not to scuff his boot. "You like pickles?" he said. "A good-sized pickle?" Tucker turned away and walked a dimly lit aisle between metal bins containing hundreds of pipe fittings. Jimmy followed. His boot heels had metal taps that rang with each step, announcing his progress like a belled cat. "Them old ladies got the biggest dugs ever was," Jimmy said. "Don't talk," Tucker said. Jimmy gritted his teeth to quell a response. All his life he'd heard variations of shut up, hush up, quiet down, and his mother's firm enough. But no one had ever ordered him not to talk. He didn't like it. He had a right to talk, same as any man, but he'd hold off for a few minutes at least. The rear of the store held a long slab of white oak, marred by stains and nicks. Rifles and pistols lined the back wall, hanging on wooden pegs wrapped with cotton to prevent them from scratching the gunmetal. In the middle of the wall was an open doorway where a man in a greasy apron stood. He was tall with long hands, slim-fingered as a banjo picker. Pushed up on his balding head was a special set of glasses that magnified small work. His grandfather had started the store, and his father had nearly run it into the ground by making bad deals while drunk. It had fallen to him to stave off the creditors. He'd made a few mistakes, including a marriage to a woman he didn't like. The store's legacy would end with him, and when the time came, he wanted to go out big. He planned on disappearing to Myrtle Beach alone. "Fellers," he said, "what can I do for you?" So there you see exactly what I was talking about, right? Jimmy, the buffoonish henchman, we quickly get a sense of who he is and how he's been pushed around for being an idiot all his life and how resentful he is about it. That all comes to a head later in the book. That is an important detail. And then the shopkeeper, who is in an unhappy marriage, and the guy's in the book for like 2 pages. It's amazing. So anyway, this is not a great book in classical historical sense, but it's a damn good book. It's a great read. Again, very quick. And I recommend it. If I had a bone to pick with it, it would be that while the protagonist is a very sympathetic character and a very likable character, he's a little too perfect. I'm as sick of the anti-hero as everybody. It's nice to have a protagonist who you can root for and care about, but this one just isn't really given any significant flaws. So that felt a little just kind of stuck in my craw as I was going through. Like, when is he going to make a mistake or do something that is clearly that he clearly knows or feels is wrong or whatever? But I can live with it. Certainly, this is not the kind of book that's attempting to make any sort of grand literary statements. But it is very well written, great characters, very realistic characters. I think you'll enjoy it. So go pick up a copy of Country Dark by Chris Offutt. I got mine at the bookseller in Lincoln Square. I'm gonna take a break from these reviews because I'm gonna read a couple of Christmas books, something I do every year. There's like Christmas Mysteries, one by Agatha Christie. Got some P.D. James short stories. I love that shit. I'm not gonna review them because who cares? But I'll be back sometime in January with my next review. Cheers, everybody. Merry Christmas.